Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody who is here for this beautiful day, finally a beautiful day. I have a couple of quick announcements before we start worship. And the first is that he seemed like he was okay. Some of you will have heard Robert O. fell on his way into our meeting house today, coming down the stairs, and he hit his head on the wall. So he was taken by the EMTs. He didn't lose consciousness, but he was hurt, visibly hurt, and it was, of course, very upsetting to all of us who love him, and especially those of us who love him and saw it happen. But the EMTs came and took good care of him. He's at Rhode Island Hospital. Our lay ministry team is following up with him even as we speak. And I would just like to ask us to take a moment to send him prayers, love, and good thoughts. Can we do that now together for Robert O.? And as part of that, Joyce Buber was there, and she dropped her jacket and phone right by him while she was helping to take care of him. And her phone and jacket aren't there now. So there's a chance that they maybe ended up in the ambulance or somewhere else. But we are heavily on the lookout now for a blue jacket and a sparkly phone. So if anybody sees either of those unattended anywhere, please let us know right away. Joyce, are you in the, yes, can you stand up so everybody can see who they need to go to for the phone? There's Joyce. So please let her know right away if you can. And I try not to interrupt church for personal stuff, but Rachel McClay, why don't you come downstairs? Because I think you're going to go with the second and third graders when they leave in a little while. So come on down from the balcony, okay? Okay, Roxanne, over to you. Thank you, everyone.
Good morning again, everyone.
Good morning.
It's June. I'm Roxanne Stern. I will be the worship associate for today. Let us celebrate this beautiful day together.
This is our time of greeting, our time to express how glad we are to be together in community and warmly welcome each and every one of us, from the person we know very well sitting near us to someone we never saw before sitting maybe in the furthest pew away from us. Let's rise and move our bodies and move our spirits and make sure no one goes ungreeted and unwelcomed this morning. And before we resume our seats, can we turn and wave to the cameras to the right of the organ? Everyone at home, there's about 100 people. On the count of 3, good morning. 1, 2, 3, good morning. Everybody at home, how good it is to be with each other in every possible way we can. So take your time resuming your seats. I'm so glad that everybody really does get up and move around and say hi to different folks in different parts of our space, our sacred space. Can we join together in the words of our chalice lighting and then our sabbatical chalice lighting as they're printed in the order of service? This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights our way towards harmony, justice, and hope for all. We light this flame to send and receive blessings, warmth, and light to Reverend Roger until his safe return this fall. And our invocation this morning, may we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know, once again, that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, to each other. Our opening hymn is The Fire of Commitment. It's number 1028 in the teal hymnal. Can we rise in body or spirit and sing out? Good luck. From the light of days remember, burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living, brings us hope both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Liza Davis.
I'm Chris Newtonboom.
And you might recognize us from our time spent up here with the choir, which is a big part of what we want to talk about today when we share why we love First U. So we started attending in early 2023. Neither of us were raised UU. I was raised formally Catholic, but within a family of spiritual seekers. Actually, my brother happens to be visiting today, one of those spiritual seekers. There were a lot of things that I loved about the Catholic Church, especially the ritual of the service and growing up in a multi-generational community that looked out for each other. But there were a lot of things that I didn't love so much about the Catholic Church. And as I got older, I really felt like I needed to find a spiritual community that aligned more with my values and reflected my values. And when we moved to Providence, I originally intended to kind of shop around at a bunch of different liberal congregations in the city and, just sort of get a flavor of what the scene was like here. And First U happened to be the first one that I tried. And after just one service here, I was hooked. I was like, I don't need to look anywhere else. This is it. And I think it's easy to see why. If you ever spend time here, you can understand why that is. Every Sunday, we get a big dose of inspiration, food for thought, and calls to action for justice and to love one another, which we need now more than ever in these times. We've made some wonderful friends here and have found a multi-generational community in which to raise our daughter, Meg. And last, but certainly not least, we have gained the opportunity to make wonderful music every Sunday.
Music has always been a big part of both of our lives. We actually met for the first time in a choir, so full circle. But one of the things that they don't tell you about growing older and entering into the more adult communities of the world is that it's harder to keep those connections and hobbies alive. Very soon after First U, we started singing with the choir, and we saw it as an option to sort of re-engage with that community building that music can do a really good job of creating. And under Beth's leadership these past few years, we have had and loved the opportunity to share beautiful music with you all and with this church. Singing together is, as I said, a powerful means of community building, and we have loved having music back in our lives and having the chance to bring music into yours. And we thank Beth for her stewardship of the choir these past few years, and we can't wait to work with the wonderful new music director that this campaign is helping to bring in.
So because of all the gifts that First U has given us, we were more than happy to support the strategic campaign, and especially considering the investments to the music program that are being made right now. There is still time to contribute, and we hope that you'll join us in supporting this wonderful, beloved community that we all love so much. And we look forward to more togetherness and more music to share down the road. Thank you.
It always feels so fitting to read the covenant after these testimonials that we're hearing from each other about the importance of this church in our lives. Can we join in the words, everyone is invited, no one is required? We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. Now can I invite our Director of Religious Education, Jenny Nelson, up?
Good morning, everyone. It is my great honor and heartfelt joy to stand before you today as we recognize and celebrate the incredible contributions of our volunteer teachers this year. Teaching is, at its core, an act of love. And for our volunteer teachers, it is also a powerful act of faith. Faith in our children, in our values, and in the future we are nurturing together. Week after week, you have shown up with open minds, open hearts, and open arms. You've planted seeds of wisdom, compassion, justice, and curiosity in the minds of our young ones. You've guided them through our values, not just by teaching, but by living them. Your work may not always be easy, but it is deeply meaningful. So on behalf of our congregation, our leadership, our families, and most importantly, our children, thank you. Thank you for your time, your energy, your creativity, your patience, and your unwavering spirit. You are helping shape the future, one Sunday, one lesson, one loving connection at a time. Would all of our volunteer teachers please stand so we can thank you?
And while we're at it, can we thank Jenny Nelson for an incredible first year here. Thank you. She has said yes to everything, and while she may regret that, we are grateful. Before we close the teacher appreciation section and sing our children and youth out to the rest of their Sunday program this morning, I've been given the deeply humbling task by the Spiritual Pathways team of inviting others to get involved in our religious education program. We started this year, and we've been working on coming back, right, from COVID. We started this year. Does anybody know about how many children and youth we started with this year? Not RE people. You guys have to. Anybody else? A guess? It was 40. 40 something. Does anybody want to guess what we have now registered in our program as we conclude the year? 115. That kind of exponential growth is not happening everywhere. It is happening here because of the commitments and creativity and excellence that we have in our program. But you can't go from 40 to 115 without adding some teachers. So we're going to be reopening, it feels so good, some classrooms next year because we're going to be having more students and more classes and more stuff going on. And we need our people to help step up and join the Spiritual Pathways teaching teams. Now, they are teaching teams so that you don't have to teach every single Sunday. The teams rotate through, and that way you can be here some Sundays, you can be in a park, but mostly here when you're not teaching, but conceivably somewhere else, but mostly here. But you're not committed to be there every single Sunday, but many Sundays. And the experiences are incredible, and actually to just make clear how the degree to which this is a gain and not a sacrifice. I want to quote a beloved member of the last church I served, the Silver Spring Church down in Maryland, a wonderful man named Jimmy Schreiber, who had mostly grown up in that church, raised his own kids in that church, and I will never forget, he did the pitch one Sunday at that church, which had a big, very happy program, and he said that teaching religious education, oh shoot, now I'm forgetting the thing. Do you remember? I told you about this. What is it? It's like doing the hokey pokey.
Yeah.
I know, now you're all like, okay, she lost me. But he said that teaching religious education is like doing the hokey pokey, because you start off small, and you put like one hand in, and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to take one hand out, but then you put one hand in again, and you get so much that you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. Like, it's that kind of a hugely renewing thing. And he did the whole thing. He was this lanky guy, and he's like, then you put your both hands in, and your both hands out, and eventually, what happens? You put your whole self in, and I don't think he ever got his whole self back out. But he didn't want to. His whole self was in. It was that kind of a joyful, growing, gaining, dancing experience for him. and that is what it's all about. So I really hope that many of us who are thinking, I don't know, maybe that would be fun, maybe that would be different. Look at these amazing children and youth that we are supporting and helping to send into a future that needs Unitarian Universalism so badly, but think also of the life and the joy and the energy that they bring. Think how this place would feel if they weren't here. Think how different it would feel. So, it is an incredible gift to give the church, but it is an incredible gift to give yourself. Please do the hokey pokey next year and put a hand in, lend a hand, and help our strengthening, growing, burgeoning program become even stronger. And thank you. We have this song, as we leave this friendly place, the lyrics are in your order of service, so we're going to sing this a few times as we sing out our children and youth to their programming. It's in the order of service with the words that we put in. Yes, but they need the words. I think they're going to follow the music. Okay, so it's in your, use the words in your order of service, please. As you leave this friendly place, love give love to every face. Deep the kindness which you learn, light your hearts till you return. As you leave this friendly place, love give love to every face. See the kindness which you learn, light your hearts till you return. As you leave this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness which you learn light your hearts till you return.
Today's reading comes to us from George Odell. He was an anthropology professor and a member of All Souls Unitarian Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he passed away in 2011. We need one another. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted. We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid. We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again. We need one another when we would accomplish some great purpose and cannot do it alone. We need one another in the hour of success, when we look for someone to share our triumphs. We need one another in the hour of defeat, when with encouragement we might endure and stand again. We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey. All our lives we are in need, and others are in need of us.
morning. Now is our time for the joys and sorrows as written in this book in the back corner of the church. All are welcome to light a candle and with or without words, participate. I'm Reverend Cindy Baptiste. I am one of the lay ministers here, helping the team for Reverend Rogers' sabbatical. Today, grandparents celebrating the high school graduation of Rory Leonard Beshears and his John Philip Sousa Band Award. George Beshears, myself, and Martha Rice Sanders. From Nancy Dooley, a candle for all of us trying to stop our federal government's insanity. From Chris Ballou, grateful for the empathy, hugs, and support of this congregation on the death of my mother, Dawn Jax Ballou. And from me, a candle of hope for open-mindedness for the motorcycle riders screaming at my husband and I to repent on our way up the front steps of the church. That was our response, too. But may I and all of us, even in our laughter, be respectful of others' beliefs, even in our minds.
In our time for meditation, contemplation, and prayer, our words this morning are from the Reverend Jan Richardson, who is a contemporary artist, writer, and United Methodist minister. This is a reading offered by Danielle Garrett, who was with us on both Scottish pilgrimages that this church has held, and she will be ordained as a Unitarian Universalist minister next Saturday, this coming Saturday, at the First Unitarian Church in Portland, Oregon. She will then be moving to New England to take the Salem, Massachusetts church this summer, so she will become a neighbor, and she has asked me to participate in her ordination service next weekend, where I will be reading this prayer, which she shared with the pilgrims, and which I would also like to share. It felt so right for this morning's service, and I will be back. I should be back in time for service next Sunday. And after this, we have silence. During the silence, if you've lost someone close to you in the past year, we invite you to stand or raise your hand in silent witness of that loss, and then we close with music. If you could see the journey whole, you might never undertake it, might never dare the first step that propels you from the place you have known toward the place you know not. Call it one of the mercies of the road, that we see it only by stages as it opens before us, as it comes into our keeping, step by single step. There's nothing for it but to go. And by our going, take the vows the pilgrim takes, to be faithful to the next step, to rely on more than the map, to heed the signposts of intuition and dream, to follow the star that only you will recognize, to keep an open eye for the wonders that attend the path, to press on, beyond distractions, beyond fatigue, beyond what would tempt you from the way. There are vows that only you will know, the secret promises for your particular path, and the new ones you will need to make when the road is revealed by turns you could not have foreseen. Keep them. break them, make them again. Each promise becomes part of the path. Each choice creates the road that will take you to the place where at last you will kneel to offer the gift most needed, the gift that only you can give, before turning to go home by another way. Beth? Well, then now I'd like to invite Beth Armstrong forward. This is a very special Sunday for us when we are appreciating everyone who makes this church what it is, and we're starting with Beth's appreciation for our choir and our music program as our interim outgoing music director.
Sometimes I'm shy. To the choir and the choirs at First Unitarian, for the last 3 years I have served as your music director, but I have been one of you since 2002. I have sometimes wished that I had joined a small group or a soul circle here, but I realize now I am in a soul circle, and my soul circle beats all the others. To Vicki Lambroso, I want to thank and appreciate all you have shared with the choir and with the congregation for 3 years. It has been remarkable and so appreciated. Thank you, Vicki. And to the congregation at First Unitarian, there is something amazing that happens to people when they sing together. There are physiological responses: lower heart rate, increased blood flow, lowered blood pressure, increased serotonin, and it has been proven that the singer's heartbeats begin to sync together. You don't have to know any of that to know that it feels really good to sing together. I have been particularly struck by the excitement I have witnessed in the Unity Choir, which is less experienced than this group. Some of those folks have never sung in a group before they tried Unity, and they feel it, even if they can't articulate it in scientific terms. Sometimes a choir needs to practice a chord, meaning several different notes sung at the same time, and it locks into tune suddenly, and we feel something special, a kind of buzzing or tingling that has to be experienced to be believed or understood. We have sung in multiple languages and from multiple disciplines, and that means that we learn a little of those languages and a little about those people. We have sung classical music, Broadway songs, folk songs, pop tunes, sacred and secular music of all kinds. Our composers have been European, African, Scandinavian, South American, Native American, and members of this church. We have presented music from many religious traditions like the Shakers, the Quakers, Taizé, African American spirituals, gospel, Christian, Jewish, Muslim. We have sung Bach and Dolly Parton, and Pete Seeger and Mendelssohn, Bobby McFerrin, Emma's Revolution, James Taylor, Eric Whitacre, John Denver, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Randall Thompson, Jim Scott, Isai Maria Barnwell, and the list goes on. We have featured soloists and hired a few special performers. We have sung a cappella, we have sung with piano, we've sung with organ, we've sung with guitar, we've sung with a rock band. And last weekend, we sang with an accordion to accompany us. We have become friends. We have become a small group ministry. I am so glad to be a member of that group, and I'm so grateful to all of the singers for what they have contributed to worship at First Unitarian. Would you please stand? Both choirs. Now I'm going to keep the pulpit, no, it's not a pulpit, the podium for a minute. Let me start by saying I am not saying goodbye to First Unitarian or its choirs. I will continue to participate in the choir and do other things that may be useful to the church. But it is time for me to say thank you for the last 3 years in which you trusted me with the leadership of the music program. It is a big responsibility and an important one. People sometimes come to a church because of the music they find there. And the choirs and I are very aware of that. I'm thrilled about the new phase we are entering with Mahima Kumara as our new full-time music director. She has lots of creative ideas about how our music program can help propel First Unitarian Church into its stated goal of becoming a church of the city. I feel completely comfortable with the choice that the search committee and the Prudential Committee have made in hiring Mahima, and I'm delighted to take on a more supportive role with her as the leader. Please continue to support the efforts of the music director, Mahima, and all the various musicians we are privileged to work with. There are currently 3 choirs, Euphonia, Unity, and Unique. That's the kids. There's a community band, spelled, by the way, with 2 U's, community band, and UUUkes, which is spelled with 3 U's. We have a marvelously talented gem of an assistant music director in Asa Spring, who, though they serve 2 masters, so to speak, quietly leads both young people and older people in countless musical ways. I'm sorry he's not here today, but let's thank them whenever we get the chance. And please consider joining the program in some way, perhaps by joining Euphonia, which is an almost weekly commitment, Unity, which sings less frequently and with more rehearsal time, the community band, or UUUkes, where your dreams of performing on an instrument with other amateurs can be realized. Please encourage your children to sing with Asa in Unique. The musicians of tomorrow are found among them. I want to say to you that your care and support for me has been astounding. You have come to me with thanks and appreciation for what I have been doing. Sunday after Sunday. You have made me feel as if my work was noticed. I felt seen. I felt loved. I will not forget, and I know now how a beloved community works to help its members and friends feel stronger and more resilient in their lives, because that is what you did for me. And again, my deepest gratitude for all your love and support. Thank you. Sit down, Beth. Okay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Janice Okumian, and I'm currently the chair of the Music Committee, which we affectionately call the MUCOM, and therefore I am going to put on my badge of office. And I am going to say some things about Beth. And while I'm speaking, I want to show the congregation just how big our music program has grown. And to create a visual representation of that, I would like to invite all the musicians from both choirs, the band, and the ukes to come up and gather around me on the platform so that the congregation can see you. Beth, sit down. So as many of you know, we spent about 5 years discerning what we needed and wanted in a settled music director. We did a lot of research in our committee, we made presentations, we surveyed the congregation, and we knew the things that the congregation wanted, which were excellence in music, diversity, more diversity both in genre and in cultures, more opportunities for more people to participate, and outreach to the wider community, the city, the state, to be that church of the city. And it became absolutely clear that we needed to hire someone full-time. So some of you may not know this, but Beth's job is 20 hours a week. And if you consider what she's done in those 20 hours, you will also understand how special she is. So meanwhile, the strategic plan was being developed, and the goals the music committee were thinking about with the music director were totally dovetailing with the strategic plan, the desire to create more community, more spirituality, to be the church of the city. So we needed an interim music director who could begin to show us what that could look like, even in that 20 hours a week. Someone who could create all those more opportunities to participate, who would really understand UU sensibilities, who would deal with the fact that the organ would occasionally crap out at the last minute, right? But again, to do all this part-time. And there actually is practically nobody else who could have done this. Beth, I think it actually had to be you to do this. Beth was a professional UU music director before she retired to Rhode Island. And so this is what she did in her day job when she was employed before. She's been on the MUCOM for a long time. She was active in strategic planning. She's a one-time president of the congregation. She knows us inside and out. And so she really has shown us the way. And so, Beth, we are going to sing to you. Sorry, can I get down? No, I'm going to conduct. Does everybody have their music?
Thank you, Janice. I so hope that when we are done with today's service, either today or some other time soon, everyone will find time to personally be able to thank Beth for everything she's done for our church and our music program. As I just want to name one other thing, which is that right now I am Beth's boss, as well as her minister. And that's a very, very, very tough balance to strike. And she and I had a long conversation when we talked about her taking this role at all, because I said, if you do this, you really sacrifice your ability to freely participate in the church as a member, because you have to be on the staff team, and the staff team's relationship is different, and the way we behave is different, and what we do is different, and what we may or may not say is different when we are fulfilling that role, and that role will have to be the dominant one for you. And it's so hard to do that well. Jen Nardone also does that very beautifully. Honestly, to me, extraordinarily beautifully. And Beth leaned into that so carefully and intentionally. And I am so grateful, as your boss, for the incredible grace and wisdom you brought to holding both those roles so carefully and well. And I'm so excited for Mahima coming, but I'm going to miss working with you. And I will always treasure the 3 years we had of really partnering together for worship. Thank you so, so much. I need to also say that after our worship service, everyone should quickly fortify themselves for our annual meeting by having cake, which the music program has bought in Beth's honor and which will be awaiting everyone in the parish house. So please make sure that you get some cake and some beverage, and then we can all head up for our annual meeting. And now I would like to call Hillary Sammons forward as we resume our appreciations.
I am here on behalf of the Prudential Committee and all the stewards for the Capital Campaign. Could the stewards for the Capital Campaign please stand up? Those of you who have been plaguing the congregation for calls and meetings, you have been divine, and we're all here. Thank you. We are all here to thank Eric Welsh. Please come up, because we have been inspired by your support, your prodding, your organization, and we want to thank you. We're getting close to the $2.2 million mark, and because some of you know that he came to the kickoff party with a wig that he got from Tampa and flew down to get it to come to the party, we think that as you go to your next church and campaign, and you've never been to New England before, you need to bring, whether it's a Baptist church, a Catholic church, or whatever, a little flavor of the Unitarian New England energy and put your claws into their congregation like you've done to ours.
It goes the other way. It goes the other way around, she said.
Oh, it goes the other way around. Oh, I got it right. Oh, hi. There we go.
Is that better?
Like a beanie. It's
Okay.
a New
What
England beanie. There you
yeah,
go. All right,
okay.
so warning to the next congregation. We're going to get there thanks to his claws.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start the next more appreciating, and the spiritual. I'm Megan Smith. Hi, I'm on the Prudential Committee, and I am formerly a co-chair of the Spiritual Pathways Team /RE Committee. And so today I am going to announce or share or honor the Spiritual Development Ministry. Would like to honor Suzanne Austin this year. As any of you who have children in the Spiritual Pathways program, it's been a long week. Anyone who has children in the Spiritual Pathways program probably recognizes Suzanne. She is tireless in her efforts to help this program, stepping in to sub in every classroom, ensuring a smooth flow to Sunday mornings in the parish house. She's been a member and then a co-chair of the Spiritual Pathways team for several years. We just heard about all of the incredible growth in that program, and I wish I had known all of those words before I wrote these, but she has been instrumental. Whether that team was serving as a think tank or a task force or somewhere in between, Suzanne has been instrumental in helping to sustain and grow the program during these past few years of leadership transition in RE. She is dogged and determined in her support of our youth and making sure that we remember to keep their voices and needs included in our goals and plans for the future. For these things and so, so many more, we say thank you to Suzanne Austin.
Okay, I'm next. I'm Kate Niles, and I am currently clerk on PRUCOM, and I'm also co-chair of the Owning Our History team, committee, I'm not sure what we are. Anyway, I am here as part of the social justice liaison's work to honor Peter Larman. Peter has been exemplary in shepherding the current cornerstone of our anti-racism work, First U's early history book, A Church in a Triangle, into print and in organizing the Owning Our History weekend this year. He worked more than patiently with the graphic designer, incorporated enthusiastic interest from prominent BIPOC leaders and the media, set agendas for Owning Our History meetings, which looks like ooh when you do the acronym, just saying, and conferred willingly and ably with his co-chair, senior minister, director of religious education, and director of operations as needed, and often by the seat of his pants. Perhaps because he has run a church himself, not to mention large nonprofit interests, he seemed to know just how to manage this important work so that our book, exhibit, and OOH weekend could come to fruition. A diplomat, a gentleman, and fierce advocate for social change, Peter was the organizer of the big day in our strategic plan, of which the OOH/anti-racism work is an integral part. Our congregation is a far better place because of Peter, and we are grateful for his leadership and his tremendous work. Peter, can you come on up?
Good morning. I'm Katie Killalay. I'm your liaison for community life and heritage to the PRUCOM. This year, our ministry honors the music director search team that has brought us our new music director, Mahima Kumara. This group's creativity, confidence, care, and enthusiasm attracted Mahima to First U. She will bring new levels of beauty, performance, and engagement to our congregation and to our city, growing our musical footprint and bringing a key element of our strategic plan to life. Great things are coming thanks to this stellar team. Thank you, Chris Sanzo, Janice Okumian, Paul Ritualo, George Schussler, and Jill Malin.
Good morning, I'm John Dooley. I am your treasurer on the PRUCOM, and I am representing today for this, thanking everybody for great jobs they've done in different areas for the stewardship group. I could go on, but I won't, about these two people and what a fantastic job that they did. Big projects like our strategic plan and the whole campaign to raise the funds and things don't just happen. It takes like all the stewards that we honored earlier, but you need leaders too to organize them and to put the whole thing together and lead it. So I would like to ask Hillary Sammons and Bill Twiddell to come up here and be honored for the incredible job they've done on this campaign.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Cole. I'm your incoming president for next year. And I would like to invite Nancy Weiss-Reed to come up so we can honor her as a pillar of our community. If you have ever strolled through the grounds here at First U and thought, wow, this place looks amazing, you can thank Nancy Weiss-Reed. She has been our tireless grounds crew for years, turning dirt and plants into a masterpiece that even Mother Nature would envy. In the warm weather, Nancy can be seen toiling on our campus several days a week, so she has earned the right to be unapologetically unfiltered. If you accidentally compliment her sunflowers, she's likely to seem insulted that you mislabeled the helianthus. Next time, you'll get it right. But if you're lucky enough to get an invitation to one of her meals, prepare yourself for a treat. She has cooked for hundreds of people, including the Women's Alliance, the homeless shelters, and our own potlucks. All of her dishes are delicious and made with no-nonsense love. Like a thistle, Nancy can be a bit prickly, but it's all part of her charm. Behind that tough exterior is a woman who cares deeply about this church and its people. Nancy is a formidable presence, and she's a pillar of excellence and dedication here at First U. We are incredibly blessed to have her. Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, I am Karen Silva Sabatoni. I am the current president of First U for 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, before it goes to Sam. When instructing students prior to their actual undergraduate teaching assignment, my dad, who used to come to this church, the consummate professor, used to remind his class that everyone can relate to a concept better when it is presented in the form of a story. This shared oral narrative is the magic ingredients, the pixie dust, if you will, that when sprinkled generously helps us to remember, react, and respond. At First U, we are so fortunate to have Len Cabral as an integral member of our congregation and community. Quote, an internationally acclaimed, award-winning storyteller and author who has been engaging and entertaining audiences with his storytelling performances for decades, end quote. However, perhaps the highest accolade we can offer is from members of our own church community who personally remember, again, quote, listening to Len tell stories as a young person and now watching him tell stories to my own children. Feeling energized, delighted, and part of something bigger than myself. Having always been really proud to share a faith community with him. A Rhode Island role model and celebrity with an incredible gift. Quote, Len, thank you for sharing your special talents by weaving words and connecting cultures with so many members of our First U family.
Can we join in our second hymn, For All That Is Our Life, number 128? In the gray hymnal you'll find before you or near you. Can we rise in body or spirit? For all life is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift that we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our praise and thanks. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. I've told you before how I feel some pressure often to really inspire an incredible offering in the worship service, which is one of the reasons that the worship team decided years ago to put the offering after the sermon, which was not my call. But this is one of those Sundays when I feel no pressure at all. The incredible accomplishments of this church this year and everywhere, the incredible love, the incredible power, the incredible commitment, the incredible, I mean this literally, to me, incredible courage and beauty of this community and the journey it has claimed for itself and the steps it is taking each and every day and month and year is beyond compelling, at least to me as your senior minister. I hope it is to you, especially this Sunday, when we get a chance to lift up only some of the many extraordinary people making extraordinary efforts in an extraordinary time that needs us. Thank you so much for all that you give and all that you do and all that each and every one of you here today are. May we give as generously as we are able to the life and the work of this beloved community. We really have to change this bylaw, people. I can't see who said that. Did you guys hear somebody who was like, no, nobody change it. This bylaw that says the official notifications have to come from the pulpit. This is an official notification that the annual meeting of the First Unitarian Church of Providence will take place today, June 1st, after worship. The purpose of the meeting is to elect officers for the coming year, approve the proposed budget, and receive campaign and strategic plan updates. Please make your way through the parlors to get your snacks and cake, and then up to the auditorium in the parish house next door to check in. Everyone is welcome to attend, and those who have been members for at least 3 months as of today are able to vote. And of course, this is how we make all our decisions, so that's important. I have also a reminder to all our friends that Providence Pride is 21 days away. We need your help to make our presence and our values known. LGBTQ people need our support. Please sign up to usher at our Pride service here at the First U Meeting House at 10 a.m. that morning, or for an hour to help staff the booth at Pride Fest between 11:30 to 4, or to decorate our truck at 5, or to march in the parade at 8, or all of the above. And you may contact Holly Dobbs for more information. I don't think Holly's here today, but is she, so you can stand up so people can see you? No, okay. How many weeks are left for our strategic campaign and annual campaign? Yes, there is 1 week left. The hot off the presses number for how much we have currently raised of the $2.2 and change million that we are raising is 1.94. Which is just incredible. Incredible. All of our calculations as we went into this told us that we could make it, and we can, but we need all our people to do everything possible in order to accomplish that. Every time I make these announcements the last few weeks, I'm told that people flood the table in the atrium afterwards to go ahead and make appointments for your visit and do your gift. The visit is important. It's an important way for us to get to know each other and build community. It's also important to make sure you know everything that is in hand. For example, surely you have heard at this point about the strategic campaign and its goals, but apparently a bunch of our people were unaware still that at the same time we're doing the strategic campaign, we also have an ask for the annual campaign, because we still need to give so that the church can operate next year, right? There's always the annual campaign. The strategic campaign is different. The annual campaign happens every year. And some people are forgetting to give to the annual campaign, which is a little worrisome, because we do depend on that every year in order to operate. This year, for the annual campaign, we've asked for a very modest 5% increase. And I want to be really clear with you all about what that goes to, because it's mostly to cover some cost of living increases to staff that are well below the actual cost of living, but they give the staff something so that they're not operating at a loss year after year, a worse loss, in supporting and working for the church. It also allows us to grow the hours of a number of positions in ways that are absolutely necessary, including but not limited to our new music director. And most of it is going to pay for increases to utilities and insurance. So I'm going to say again, most of that 5% increase that we're asking for from everybody is going to utilities and insurance. Are those optional? No, they're not. We have to have insurance, and we have to have utilities. So please, if you have neglected to make your 5% increase, please do. If you have not yet made your gift to either or both campaigns, please do. If you didn't realize why we were asking for 5% and you just thought we plucked that number out of thin air, most of it is going to utilities and insurance. We have to have that. Those numbers, as you may well be aware already, are rising a lot every year. So there's nothing we can do about it, but we have to have it. So please do make your gifts. You can see folks at the table immediately after worship. You can call the office to set something up. You can call Eric, our wonderful strategic campaign consultant who's been with us since January, to talk with him more about that, or any of the people you saw celebrated for the strategic campaign today. Lastly, the conversation that I am having with Reverend Jamie Washam from First Baptist and Rabbi Sarah Mack from over at Temple Bethel is coming up this coming Tuesday at Temple Bethel, 7 p.m., with Dr. Mark Dunkelman on his book, Why Nothing Works, about things that progressives have done and could do better in order to make our world, our nation, our politics, and our society much more conforming to the vision we continue to treasure and work for. So I'll hope to see you there, and am happy to tell you any more about that afterwards. Oh, and the benediction is downstairs. 1 minute.